Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Booze Clues. You write them, I read them, and that's pretty much it. And these stories today are very unsettling. Yes, I actually read them beforehand. So thank you. Thank you. I know. And I was actually looking for like a little bit of a theme this week. So maybe you guys will catch on. Maybe you'll catch on to the theme. And happy May 1st. It's gonna be May when you're listening to this. And there are so many good things happening this month. Also, sorry, my voice is going away. I just got home from work and this just happens after I get home from work. I have no voice. So it's just gonna be scratchy. Yeah, there are lots of good things happening this month. I get to see my girl Haley fucking Williams, Miss Williams, if you nasty. And it's also my birthday month. So it's gonna be really, really great. And my 14-year-old graduates 8th grade this year. So as much as I don't want her to go, I have to let her go. Our school's K-8, so she's literally been there since forever. I don't know a school experience without her being there. So this is going to be very bittersweet, very bittersweet. But I'm very happy that the school year is coming to a close because it has been so busy. It has been wild. We get to celebrate moms this month. Moms, you're all kick ass. Good job, moms. And it's pool season. I love a pool day. And I can't wait to see my little shredded in the water this summer at swim team. She's going to do awesome. She's so excited. Just lots of good things to come. You know, it's almost summer, almost vacation time, and I'm so ready. I'm sure many of you are as well. But enough about me. We're here to tell some stories written by you, the listeners. And before we begin, make sure to remind yourself to send in a story if you have one. You can send it to suspectsandspiritspod@gmail.com or you can DM me. Just set a reminder on your phone or something. I don't know. Send them in. I love these episodes. Honestly, I love them because these stories are they're so phenomenal. You guys are incredible writers. And of course, I love to hear everyone's experiences, but also I love these because it is less work for me. Selfishly, I'm sorry. I do love these because I don't have to do any research, you guys. I just pick and record and it's great. So thanks for that. You guys are awesome. You're real ones. You guys are the real MVPs, just keeping this podcast going. And truly, like without you, I probably would have just given up. But thank you for listening and thank you for writing in. Now, let's get into it. Our first subject line today is I think I brought something home with me. It starts off, "Hi, spooky friend. I hope you read this on the podcast because I genuinely want to know if anyone else has had a similar experience. I listened to your Zak Bagans Museum episode recently. I just found you on TikTok and I'm catching up. So I wanted to write in my recent experience. I had been wanting to go there for as long as I can remember. Zak may be a bonehead with big muscles, but he definitely has some interesting artifacts. I agree. I agree. And we are all kidding ourselves if we don't admit to having enjoyed his show in the past. Oh, for sure. For sure. Yes. I grew up watching Ghost Adventures. I still watch it. I do because I find it to be both entertaining and also very interesting. So, yeah. And I enjoy going to his museum. So, I'm glad you're writing in your experience. And this one is pretty wild, you guys. She goes on to say, by the way, my name is Kelsey and you can use it. Well, the opportunity finally arose last month for me to experience the one and only Zak Bagans Museum. I'm from Bishop, California. It's very small and close to the Nevada border. My cousin Lonnie and I decided to plan a Vegas trip on a whim. I had never been, and she told me I was missing out. We were so excited. It was our last day in Vegas, and we saved it for the finale. Everything was fine at first. Creepy, yeah, but manageable. Until we got to the serial killer room. I don't even know how to explain what happened next, but the second I stepped inside, it hit me like a wave. My stomach dropped, my ears started ringing, and before I could even process it, I literally threw up in my own hands. Like fully in my hands. Oh my God. That visual is lovely, Kelsey. She says, I was mortified. And no, I had not been drinking that day at all. I wanted to be fully aware for the experience. I was so embarrassed. The staff rushed me out immediately and I kept on apologizing, crying, the whole thing. But they were so kind. One of them told me, this happens more often than you think, which somehow made me feel better, but also very scared because why does everyone throw up there? Great question. I also got sick there. So, I didn't get that sick, but I got very nauseous. She says they brought me water and crackers and then had me sit in the amethyst chair. They said it helps cleanse energy. And honestly, it was freezing, like unnaturally cold, but it felt good because my body was hot and sweaty and I felt awful. I stayed in the chair for maybe 15, 20 minutes until I stopped shaking. They gave us our t shirts because we had VIP passes and we went back to the hotel. I still felt off. Not sick, just not myself. Like my body was there, but I wasn't. So I went to sleep early, and that's when the dream started. For 7 nights straight, I had the exact same nightmare. In the dream, it wasn't me, or at least I didn't recognize myself. I was inside what looked like a big house with other girls around me. They were college aged, but their clothes didn't match the current time. It was like I was in the past. In this nightmare, a man with brown hair and wild eyes had a rope in his hand and was dragging a woman by her hair into a room. I knew what was happening. I knew this man's face. It was Ted Bundy, but I didn't recognize any of the girls. I was watching these girls who I identified as my roommates in the dream get brutally attacked, and I couldn't do anything. In this nightmare, I was completely frozen. I couldn't move or scream. And then he would come out of the room and see me hiding. Every time, he would turn slowly, eyes wide and crazed, like a wild animal. He had the rope in his hand and he'd start walking toward me. And right as he grabbed me and began to drag me away, I'd wake up, drenched in sweat, every single night. The weirdest part about this is that I knew the general information of this case, but not the morbid details. I had never looked into it too deeply. I had never seen crime scene photos. I didn't even know the names of the victims. But in this nightmare, there was one girl in the house who kept shouting, "Maggie, just listen. Maggie, just do what he says." Her voice would crack like she was going to cry. It wasn't until the dream had persisted for 3 nights that I couldn't handle it anymore, and I decided to look up some of his victims. And that's when I saw the name Margaret Bowman and pictures of the Chi Omega house. That was the house from my dream. And that girl, Maggie, looked exactly like Margaret's picture. After a week of this persistent nightmare, I couldn't take it anymore. I went to a local medium. I didn't even know if I believed in that stuff, but I was desperate. Nothing like this had ever happened to me before, and it was affecting my mental health. The medium was very kind. She listened, didn't interrupt me once, and then gave me Palo Santo, a protection spell, a few incantations to say before bed, holy water to dab on my forehead, and a crucifix to hang above my bed. She told me I may have unintentionally absorbed something when I went to the Zak Bagans Museum, which scared the crap out of me. So I did everything she said. And that night, after using the Palo Santo exactly as she instructed, reciting the spells, hanging the cross, and dabbing holy water everywhere, nothing. No dream. No waking up, not drenched in sweat, just peaceful sleep. Finally. And it never came back. So now I'm sitting here wondering, was that just a nightmare? Or did I somehow tap into something that wasn't mine? And I would like to know, has anyone else had nightmares after going to this museum? Or maybe something that felt a little too real? I know you personally experienced feeling sick and burning sensations when you went there, but I need to know if anyone else has ever had something like this happen to them there. So if you know anyone, send them my way. I'd like to ask some questions. I could not imagine having a dream like that. I've had horrible, horrible nightmares before and really just bad night terrors, but nothing like that. That is insane, especially since she says she didn't know the names of the victims and one ended up having the same name in the dream. It is very bizarre. Kelsey did actually give me her TikTok handle, and I'm not going to share it on here, but if anyone has experienced something like this, let me know and I'll get you in touch with each other because Kelsey, she's really looking for answers here. And that's why she shared her story. So thank you, Kelsey. Thank you for sharing that. And that is fucking horrifying. That's not a nightmare. That's literally like you stepped back in time and you were physically there. That's so scary. And I'm glad you were able to have someone help you so that you didn't experience that anymore because nightmares as is, they're awful. But that just seems like something else. And you had it for 7 nights in a row? That is wild. And, they probably told you, Kelsey, as they told me before we went in, that people do pass out and they get sick in the museum, and that serial killer room is dark. And so I completely understand the energy you're talking about. Walking into the serial killer room, like, everything is behind glass, but it's like the energy breaks through the glass. That room is so heavy. Like, literally, the air has weight to it. I did not like that room at all. I hated it, and it made me feel very sick also. God, I felt horrible that night. Like, worst nausea I have ever felt, shaking, couldn't eat or even drink anything. The only thing that helped was sleep. And I didn't have no horrible nightmares though, like that nothing like that, but my back was on fire the rest of the night. Man, you know what, Kelsey? You should write to Zach, and you should just ask him actually, or call the museum and ask if other people have reported dreams like that, because that is intense. But I'm so glad you're okay, and thank you for writing in. All right, guys, on to the next story. This one gives me chills also. All of these stories, actually, except for the last one, are pretty intense. In fact, all of you guys who wrote into me for this episode, you need to write a book. You need to write a book about your experiences, because these are very bizarre. It's so wild. All right. Our subject line for this one is "Look him up." And this is from Marissa, who lives in Phoenix. Hello, fellow Arizonan. She says, "Hi, Taylor. My friend told me about your podcast back in November, and I'm almost caught up. I love the Booze Clues stories, and I think it's important to share our experiences. So I wanted to write in my own. This happened about a year ago, right after I got out of a long term relationship. My friends convinced me to try Bumble. I was hesitant, like very, but I matched with this guy who seemed normal enough. He had a good job, there was decent conversation, and he wasn't overly aggressive with texting. So I agreed to meet him for dinner. But from the second I got there, something felt off. Not enough to leave, but enough that I noticed. He'd say things that sounded normal at first, but then I'd think about them and they felt wrong. Like when I told him where I worked and he said, quote, "Oh, that's perfect. You probably have a predictable schedule," end quote. And he smiled when he said it, but it didn't feel like a compliment. At one point he asked, "Do you live alone?" And then quickly followed it with, "I just mean like roommates or whatever." But I brushed it off. Nope, no, not a brush off. That is a weird question. I guess it's not weird if you're like in a college setting, if someone's like, "Hey, so what are your roommates like? Do you have roommates?" But to start it with, "Do you live alone?" Yeah, I don't like that. She says, "I told myself I was being paranoid. I had never dated online before, so I thought maybe this was just nerves and I was overthinking everything." Then he got up to use the bathroom. And that's when it happened. I heard my name, clear as day. "Marissa." I looked up, thinking maybe I ran into someone I knew. But no one was looking at me. No one was even close. And then I heard it again, softer this time. "Marissa, look him up." It sounded like an older woman, not scary, but firm. I got chills immediately. I don't know why I listened, but I did. So I pulled out my phone, typed in his name, and my stomach dropped. This man had 4 counts of aggravated assault and 1 count of attempted sexual assault. I didn't wait. I didn't think. I grabbed my purse, went straight to the host stand, and told them very quietly, "I'm leaving. My date has a criminal record, and I don't feel safe." The hostess didn't even hesitate. She nodded and said, "Go. I've got you." Girls really do stick together. Yes, we do. Good for that hostess. I love that. She says, "Thankfully, I had driven myself there because I was not comfortable riding in a car with someone I didn't know. So I walked out, got in my car, and drove straight home. I blocked him immediately, and the next day I changed my phone number." But the craziest part about this whole experience was that voice. It sounded exactly like my grandma. She had passed away just a few months before that, and she was my best friend. I'm so sure that was your grandma. She says, "I've never used a dating app again. And honestly, I'm okay with that. because something or someone was looking out for me that night. I think this is what they call a third man experience, where there's some kind of voice that tells you you're in danger. Some people believe they're guardian angels. For me, it was my grandma. She always looked out for me as a kid, and I fully believe she's still doing that from heaven. RIP to Grandma B. Thanks for looking out. Marissa from Phoenix. Yo, Marissa, girl, I am so glad I'm married. Sorry, I don't mean to make a joke. This is just one of those situations where, like, oh my God. Oh my God. Men are not okay. And that's not to say all men. I know it's not all men, meh. But the issue here is that we don't know which men. So, yeah, not all men, but always a man. And that's why when someone's like, well, not all men are like that. Yeah, we know, but we don't fucking know which ones are like that. Like, look, okay, if I gave you a box of chocolates, like Whoppers or something, chocolate candies, and I said, hey, just so you know, one of these is actually dog shit covered in chocolate. And then I shook up the box and I handed it to you. Would you want to eat any of them? No, you wouldn't, because you don't know which one is chocolate or which one is dog shit. And that's kind of the point. I'm so glad this listener looked this man up and saw his record. Unfortunately, not all men like that have a record. And so women aren't always aware. Uh, Dating sucks. Dating sucks enough. But on top of that, you also got to worry about the chocolate covered dog shit guys. It's just not a good time. Oh, Marissa, I hope you find someone one day that is a real chocolate candy and not just wearing a mask to cover up their stank. Okay, you deserve it. But you know what? Self-love is the most important love. That's right. And as long as you have that, you're golden. Love yourself. You don't need a partner. You don't need no man. But if you do find one day, I hope they're a real candy and not a turd candy. Oh, thank you for writing in, Marissa from Phoenix. Let this be a cautionary tale for everybody in the dating world, not just women, men too. Look up your dates. Just safety first. Okay. Okay. All right. Time for story number 3. And this one is unbelievable, just unreal. This subject line is The Girl Named Tammy. It starts off, Hi, Taylor in the True Crime Coven. I am a relatively new listener, just started about 2 months ago, but I'm almost fully caught up. I debated writing in this story because it still gives me nightmares, but it has an important message. My name is Danielle, and I'm from Canada. Ah, shit, Danielle, I'm not going to be able to pronounce this. Mississauga. Missis. Okay. Mississauga? Mississauga. It's Canada, Ontario region. I don't know about you guys, but I am such a bookworm. I love a rainy day and getting cozy with a new book. I even love the smell of books. And of course, mystery or thrillers are my go-to, but finding the time to sit down and actually read them, that's the real mystery. So as much as I love the feel and smell of a good page turner, I also love Audible. You can listen to thousands of audiobooks, podcasts, and originals while doing literally anything. And the best part, your entire library goes with you. True crime, paranormal deep dives, thrillers, memoirs, whatever your brain may be craving, Audible probably has it. Start listening today by grabbing your free Audible trial through the link in my show notes. With an Audible membership, you get 1 credit every month to download any audiobook you want to keep for free, plus unlimited listening to thousands of podcasts and Audible originals with Audible Standard. So whether you're driving, cleaning, walking the dog, cooking dinner, or spiraling down a late-night true crime rabbit hole again, your next story can go with you. Start a free trial today, download the Audible app, and begin listening in minutes. Just check the link in my show notes to get started. Your next obsession is waiting. We love our pets, but sometimes they act like feral raccoons on a Red Bull binge. Like my pit bull Rizzo, for example. She is 10 years old and still chews like a puppy in the velociraptor phase of doggy development. In fact, one of her favorite pastimes is running up the backyard wall, jumping into the tree, and trying to grab birds or lizards, which is hilarious to watch, but also, please don't bring me the birds. So, if you also have a dog with the energy of a caffeinated raccoon, I found something amazing. It's called the Woof Popsicle. It's basically a popsicle style toy for dogs that you fill with treats so that they stay busy instead of eating things that they definitely should not eat when those zoomies hit. My favorite part is that they have refill pops. So when your dog finishes one and then stares at you like you personally ruined their life, you can just pop another one in. So the next time your dog is behaving like Michael Scott yelling parkour and launching themselves off the furniture and you fear for their safety, give them a little treat to keep them busy. Head to the link in the show notes for the Pupsicle and the refill pops. Your pup will thank you. So she says, "My name is Danielle. I'm from Canada, and I was 12 years old when this happened. It was the mid 90s, and I was at the park with my best friend. No parents around, just being kids and told to come home when the streetlights were on. As my friend and I played, this woman approached us out of nowhere. She looked normal, friendly even. She asked, 'Hey, sweeties, have you seen my sister?' We both said no and went back to playing, not thinking anything of it. But she didn't leave. She stuck around, sort of pacing, but not in a frantic way. She seemed pretty chill, just sort of concerned. Then, as we were trying to see who could skip the most monkey bars without falling, the woman came back over and said she was sure her sister had been there. So I asked, 'What does she look like?' The woman said, 'She's blonde. Her name is Tammy.' It still didn't ring any bells. Then she asked, 'Can you help me look for her?' I almost said yes, because she was a woman. She didn't seem scary. She was young, but my friend grabbed my arm and gave me this look. It was a very firm look I had never seen before. She whispered, 'My mom said to never go with anyone, not even a woman.' So I didn't ask questions. This was my best friend. I didn't want to question her. So I made up an excuse and said we had to go home. As we walked away, we kept looking back at the woman, and we noticed her face had changed. It went from smiling and friendly and normal to completely blank. Her eyelids drooped, and her expression was just gone, like someone turned her off. We turned onto the street to head home, and that's when we saw a car. It was a goldish Nissan parked nearby, and there was a man inside. He was young too, not an old man, and he was pretty handsome. He rolled down the window and said, 'Hey, my fiance's looking for her sister. Have you seen her?' He gave the same story, same description, and he flicked his cigarette out the window like it was nothing. My friend squeezed my hand, and we exchanged a look of concern. We said, 'No.' And my friend grabbed me and started to pull me away from the car. Slowly at first, and then she began to quicken her pace. Before I knew it, we were running. We didn't stop until we got to our friend's house down the street, which thankfully was not far and it was the closest house we knew. We ran right in because no one locked the doors back then, and my friend told her mom everything. She called it in immediately, but nothing was done. They just took a description of the man, the woman, and the car. Fast forward 2 years. My family and I were at a restaurant, and the news came on. They announced that they had finally caught the Scarborough rapist. It was a man by the name of Paul Bernardo. A bunch of adults were standing around, so I couldn't quite see his face. But then came a name I will never forget, Tammy Hamoka. Instantly, I thought of the woman in the park looking for her sister, Tammy. I tugged at my mom's shirt to tell her, "That's the girl from the park. That's the girl's name." But she shushed me and told me to hold on. 90s moms, am I right? Oh my God, I know. Oh my God, you were almost abducted by. Oh my God. Okay, sorry. She said, what I heard next sent chills down my entire body. It was announced that 15-year-old Tammy Hamoka was assaulted and killed by Paul Bernardo with help from his wife, Carla Hamoka, her sister. My mother slapped her hand over her mouth and tears filled her eyes. I remember her voice cracking as she said, "Her own sister?" I finally crawled up a bit in the booth and sat on my knees, squinting toward the television. And that's when I saw their pictures. Carla was the woman who approached my friend and I at the park. And Paul, he was the man in the car. My friend and I were approached by the Barbie and Ken killers. As I thought back, I knew I should have recognized that car. It had been reported on before and had been tied to the Scarborough attacks. To this day, I thank God my friend had better instincts than I did. When I asked her years later, she said she recognized the car from the news, and though she wasn't really sure, she didn't want to find out. Her mother, like a second mother to me, had always been a true crime fanatic and was super paranoid. She made sure her daughter knew when to run, and I'm grateful I was with her that day because I probably would have gone with them. I hope this story makes it on the podcast and serves as a reminder to all people, especially young women. Adults don't need your help. If they ask, tell them to find an adult and book it out of there. Those two were some of the worst humans to ever walk this earth. And my friend and I were the perfect prey. RIP to Tammy, Leslie, and Kristen, and who knows how many others that we don't know about. And may Carla and Paul burn in hell. Danielle from Ontario. Oh, you guys, when I read that for the first time, I literally I stopped after I saw the name Tammy and I was like, no fucking way. No way. But then I thought about it and I was like, this is Canada in the 90s. And as I kept reading, my heart was jumping out of my chest. I was so nervous for these two girls. Like, even just now, reading it again out loud, my heart is racing. The story of Tammy Homoka, ugh, I hate it so much. That is so terrifying. They were pure fucking evil, like pure evil. And I cannot believe that Carla is just like still out there. Just living her, you know what? I'm not going to get into it, but I will need to cover that story one day. It enrages me. And as someone with two big sisters who I know would do anything to protect me, like they're the best humans, I hope that Carla has the worst afterlife imaginable. Just the worst. I I don't even want her in hell. I want her further than that. Like she is a despicable human and so is he. And Danielle, I am so glad your friend was with you to get you both out of that scenario. And yes, you're right. Adults do not need your help. That is such predatory behavior. I always tell my kids that. I'm like, adults don't need help from kids. If an adult ever like comes up to you in a car, or if an adult is ever like, hey, can you come help me with this? Be like, nah, fuck you, dude. You don't need my help. I'm a kid. What do you need a kid's help for? You're what? That's weird behavior. Okay, on to the last story. This is our final story. And this one is still wild, but it's a little more lighthearted, which is why I saved it for last. The subject line of this one is The Cards Didn't Lie. This one starts out, Hi, Taylor, and hi to all listening if this gets picked. I know you always say you don't believe in coincidences, so I wanted to write this in because I thought you'd enjoy it. Let me start by saying my name is Alyssa, you can use it, and I'm from Connecticut. I've always been on the skeptical side. I still love paranormal stories because I think they're fun, but I'm the person who will find the most logical explanation every time. My sister is very woo woo, and I love her for it. And despite my skeptical persona, I still enjoy doing the typical sister stuff with her. And by typical sister stuff, I mean witchy woo woo shit. Alyssa goes on to say, While I think it's all fun, I never believed in tarot, like at all. But my sister convinced me to go to Salem with her last October. And if you've been, you know the vibe. Everyone is so into it. There's witches, shops, candles, tarot readers on every corner. I don't know the vibe because I've never been, but I want to go so bad. It's honestly kind of magical in a very fun, not too serious way, and the history is really interesting. After some hesitation from me, we decided to get a tarot reading. And by we, I mean my sister Volin told me it was happening. She said, quote, What's the harm? You don't believe in it anyway. Just see what it says, end quote. So I obliged because I'm a good sister. We went to the first tarot reader we found solely based on convenience and also my sister's vibes. I love your sister. The woman was very kind and understood my skepticism without judgment. She pulled my sister's cards first and then shuffled the deck and pulled my cards. 5 cards popped out like a bat out of hell, and I was truly amazed by her sick card skills. I said, she should work in Vegas. And my sister informed me it wasn't a trick. It was spirit picking the cards to come out. I rolled my eyes and was like, well, all right then. I looked up at the woman and she immediately smiled after the 5th card popped out. She said, These are powerful. And in case you're curious, my sister had taken a picture of the cards, so I had it to reference for this story. I got the Tower, the World, the Chariot, the Star, and the Fool. You guys, When I first read this story, I was like, holy shit, that is a great spread. You could not ask for a better spread unless it's about love or something. Like this major arcana, the world, the star, beginnings, the tower. Everyone thinks the tower is so scary. They think like tower and the devil and the death card are scary. They're not scary. Okay. Tarot's never meant to scare you. It's meant to give you guidance and to sometimes maybe warn you about things that might be occurring or things that you might not be aware of that you need to be, maybe on the lookout for. But it's never meant to scare you. And the death card does not mean anyone is dying. It represents like an ending. A cycle is ending. The devil represents like obsession and unhealthy ties to people and things. And the tower usually is like it's like a tower moment, right? So if you see the tower, that usually means something's going to come crashing down, but it's meant to happen and it's for your best interest. Because many times things have to fall apart in order to make way for new, better things. So, anyways, that is an incredible spread. I was shocked when she told me that. Who the fuck gets the tower, the world, the chariot, the star, and the fool all in one? All in one. That is crazy. Okay. Anyways, she goes on to say, I had no idea what any of that meant, but the woman told me I was about to be pushed into a completely new direction, something unexpected, and that I needed to trust it even if it didn't make sense at first. I did not buy this for a minute. I am a creature of habit. I had the same job for 10 years and I wasn't planning on moving, not even for a man. I was single, loved where I lived, and this felt like it just didn't resonate at all. The woman probably saw the look on my face and she said, quote, "You won't see it coming, but it will lead you exactly where you're supposed to be." End quote. I remember laughing and saying, okay, as long as it's not bad. And we ended the night with some delicious corn chowder soup and bread bowls from a food truck. Oh, that sounds so good. And let me tell you, it was bomb. Best corn chowder my tummy has ever digested. We also got some hot cider and walked our happy full bellies to the Hawthorne Hotel, which was a great stay if you're ever in the area. Fast forward to December, 2 months later, when the entire trajectory of my life changed without any warning. After 10 years at the same job, out of nowhere, I was fired. They were cutting departments and mine was gone. I was baffled and blindsided. So, of course, I spiraled, and I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. It was full on depression, anxiety, and a hopeless job hunt with rejection after rejection. I was falling behind on bills, looking for cheaper places to live. It was bad, and my mental health was taking a serious toll. But I couldn't afford therapy. I could barely afford eggs. Then one day, I got a message on LinkedIn from a company I had applied to months earlier. They wanted me to come in for an interview. I figured, why not? At this point, I'll sell my body on OnlyFans. The interview was awkward at first, but I'm just that person. And after some small talk and making me more comfortable, it actually went amazing, like suspiciously good. And then on the spot, they offered me the job. And when they told me the salary, I genuinely thought they made a mistake. It was 4 times what I had been making at my previous job. And in parentheses, she wrote, I work in finance. It came with full benefits, a hybrid schedule, paid vacation, and a sign on bonus that would help me catch up on everything I'd fallen behind on. I didn't know what to say. I was in complete shock. I told the hiring manager there must be some sort of mistake. I've never seen this sort of pay for the job that I hold. And that's when he told me they would not be hiring me for that position. I would be in a new rank, a position of management over a new team, if I would be willing to accept. They told me they had spoken to my previous employer who vouched for me completely and explained that I had been let go not because of my performance, but due to budget cuts and new management that decided to furlough some of their best employees instead of reassigning them. I felt tears well up in my eyes as I accepted the position. I ended up moving into a better apartment, closer to work, and now I split my time between home and the office. It is my dream job, and I could not be happier. My sister is convinced that the tarot reader saw it all coming, that the tower was everything falling apart, and the rest were what came after. I don't know if I believe all that, but I will say this. When I looked up those cards later, it was almost word for word what had happened to me. We're going back to Salem this October, and I'm hoping that somehow the same reader is there. Because if it is, I have a story for her. And maybe, just maybe, the universe really does provide, even when it looks like everything is falling apart. I hope this story gets read on the podcast and that it inspires someone who feels down on their luck or has had life throw them a curveball or too many. Just know that things always get better. Nothing is ever truly as bad as it seems. Keep going. Alyssa from Connecticut. Dude, Alyssa, you're gonna make me cry on my own podcast. You're gonna make me cry. I'm so happy for you. I knew it was coming reading this because I already read it to include it in this episode, but it still brings like happy tears to my eyes just to read that. And you probably already know my thoughts on this, but I agree with your sister. The universe always provides. It always does. The tower moments are meant to make you stronger. And I think you went through like a spiritual awakening. You had some D-knots going on and you came out victorious. So congratulations on your new job. That is fucking awesome. I love this story. I believe in signs from the universe, and I definitely think tarot, when done by the right person, like, someone with actual gifts, can provide a lot of insight or guidance. I mean, heck, I'm not a medium, but there have been times where I pull cards and it resonates a little too well. I feel like no matter how used to it or how much you believe, when that happens, it is still so shocking to see it. It's so shocking. It's just kind of wild to see things play out after, you know, the cards have told you what's going to happen. I always call them my spirit team, my spirit guides. Yeah. So that's how your angels talk to you. That's how your spirit team communicates. Shit, dude. This made me want to go to Salem even more. I want to go see that tarot reader. I just want to go. I just kind of want to live there, but specifically during October. And when I do, I will book way ahead of time because I heard it gets crazy crowded that time of year. And I will try and stay at that. What hotel did you mention? What was it? The Hawthorne. I'll look it up. I will look it up and maybe I'll stay there one day when I go to Salem. Thank you so much, Alyssa, for writing that in. Another round of incredible stories. You guys have the best stories. Some of these were really rough, but like you said, all very important to tell. I really love this little community. Our true crime coven, our Ghouligans, you guys are awesome people. Thank you all for writing in your stories and trusting me enough to share them. If anyone else has a story they want to share, be sure to send it in. suspectsandspiritspod@gmail.com, or you can DM me. If you liked this episode, share it with a friend and be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. You don't want to miss them, okay? Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe, and always listen to the tarot readers. Don't trust anyone and tell your kids or nieces or nephews or grandkids or whoever that adults won't ever ask them for help, okay? They don't have to be polite. Oh, and if you experience any weird dreams or nightmares after Zak Bagans, let me know. And I will get you in touch with Kelsey because she really genuinely wants to know if others have had that same experience. Okay. All right, you guys, that is all I have for you today. Go support the pod, grab some merch, be good humans, and as always, remember to trust your lizard brain. Until next time, goodbye.